President Trump intervened when 3 UCLA basketball players were detained in China for shoplifting, helping them return home safely. But the father of one of those players, LeVar Ball, downplayed the president's help. Listen.
It wasn't like he was in the U.S. and said, okay, there's 3 kids in China, I need to go over there and get them. I would say thank you if he would have put him on his plane and took him home. Then I would have said, thank you, Mr. Trump, for taking my boys out of China and bringing them back to the U.S.
Now, the mother of another sports star stuck in China is pleading for President Trump's help to release her son from a Chinese jail where he's been held for over a year. And she says she'd never stop thanking President Trump for his help.
Mother of former Ball State linebacker Wendell Brown, Antoinette Brown, joins us now. Antoinette, thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing this story. And my heart just goes out to you. I cannot imagine what it's like to have a son trapped overseas in a prison where you can't see him and can't get word of how he's doing. If you could just share with us a little bit of the story about how he ended up going to China and ended up in this situation.
He ended up going to China to help a friend coach the Dockers football team, and he was also teaching English to the teammates that didn't know English. He had been there for a year and ended up going to a friend's birthday party at a bar, and he was attacked by a group of locals throwing bottles at him. And unfortunately, he was the only one arrested after the attack on his life.
Antoinette, you know, it sounds, when reading the story, he was approached by a few locals to have drinks. He declined, and that it was a sort of a sign of disrespect in that culture, and they started attacking him and all these things. He didn't start a fight, didn't want to be in a fight, yet he finds himself in a Chinese prison right now. What is he being charged with, and what do you know about the process right now?
What they're trying to charge him with is intentional injury. And I understand their process is lengthy, their legal system, and we're waiting. He had 2 lawyers that did an amazing job with proving his innocence during the trial, but still 4 months later, we're still waiting for the judge to give a verdict or sentencing, and we pray for fair justice for an innocent man.
Antoinette, let me just give you the floor here. What would you like to say to President Trump right now?
I would humbly ask for him to help my son that's in an unfortunate situation, and I would be truly grateful and most definitely would thank him with no problem.
You know, one of the things I was reading in this article is that you've hired a lawyer, of course, and you haven't been allowed to actually speak with your son. It's very difficult to communicate him. But you were told that if you came up with $100,000 in U.S. restitution, that potentially your son could be released. Do you think that's actually the case? Is it as a matter of $100,000, which of course is a significant sum, but would that alone send him home?
No, that was in the beginning. When they give you the first 30-something days to negotiate with the accuser and to try to resolve it before it even gets to the stage level where it goes to trial. But they were not fair with negotiating because, of course, we can't afford $100,000. We can't afford $80,000. And so we had no choice but to allow the situation to go to trial, praying that he would receive fair justice.
Antoinette, you just spent Thanksgiving without your son. How are you doing, and how's he doing? Have you had recent contact, to find out how his conditions are?
Once a month, the U.S. consulate goes to meet with him, take letters and pictures from the family and friends. And he returned letters to us and messages saying he's holding up fine. He's staying prayerful. He meditates and reads his Bible daily. And it's just really heartbreaking and sad for the family that he's not with us to celebrate like usual.
Antoinette, your son's name is Wendell Brown. He's 30 years old. He's a former 3-year linebacker at Ball State. Went over to China to teach English and coach in a league over there. Found himself in an unfortunate situation like so many Americans. Only hopes that his government will do whatever they can to bring him back. That's why we brought you on this morning. Thank you for sharing your story. Hope you had the best Thanksgiving
so much
possible,
for
and may
having
your
me.
next Thanksgiving be even better. Antoinette.